Hello, my dear friends. How are you all? I hope you are doing good by God's unfailing grace and mercy. We are also doing good. Thank you so much for your prayers. That really motivates us and take us further for the extension of God's kingdom. Today, I would like to share with you about discouragement. So we all have experience of discouragements because we each and every day face disappointments in our lives. Yes, so since there are disappointments in our lives that leads us to discouragements, so each and every day we need lot of encouragements. So each and every one of us should have a to encourage one another, so that in this fallen world we can go further for the extension of God's kingdom to glorify Him. My dear friends, why there are discouragements? Because there are disappointments, as I said. Yes, each and every day we face different challenges. One of the challenges that we face in our life is disappointments. Yes, somebody is not appointing us, or somebody is not accepting us. No, somebody is rejecting us. Now, since some people are rejecting us, some people are not accepting us, it is called disappointments. Yes, somebody is not giving appointment to us. Some people always reject us. So we should not expect that everyone should love us, everyone should accept us. If we feel that each and every people in the world should accept us, to believe in us, then it is not possible in this fallen world, because we all are human. We have our own flesh. So sometimes some people surely will hate us. Do you like David, the king of Israel? Yes, you like so much. Am I right? I also like so much. But do you know, Saul, the first king of Israel, didn't like David. Not only Saul, but also there was another person called Simei who was a relative to Saul. In the family line of Saul, he also was cursing David when David, along with his team, was leaving Jerusalem. David and his men were afraid of David's son Absalom. Absalom, David's son, was coming towards Jerusalem to fight against his own father, to fight against the people of Jerusalem. So David and his men had to leave the city. David, along with his whole family and along with his whole team, was just leaving Jerusalem city. So the man called Simei, who was a family line of Saul, King Saul, was now coming and belting him with a stone. He was throwing stones. He was scolding him. He was cursing David. But once upon a time, this Simei was sitting along with David, in a table, and used to eat together. Once he was very close with David, but when David was going through distressful situation, painful situation, this Simei was the one who was belting stone upon David. It means he had something wrong understanding regarding David. That's the reason he was belting David with a stone. Nobody expected it. No, it was a shock for David. It happens sometime. Sometimes people who are close with us act like they're loving us so much. But when we go through distressful situation and painful situation, when somebody is rejecting us, when we are disappointed, no, people will express, and so that they also were hating us, even though they were with us. So we have to face rejection in our lives. Always, all people don't like us. Some people will not accept us. Some people will reject us. No, we have to experience this kind of situation. But because somebody disappoint us, it doesn't mean that we should fall into the prey of discouragements. We can't avoid disappointments, but we can avoid discouragements. My dear friends, let me share with you from the life of King David. Before he became a king, we all know that along with his men, David was staying in desert, in wilderness, along with his team. So he had to flee here and there to different places in order to escape from King Saul. What happened once? David, along with his men, along with his team, wives and children, they were staying in a city called Ziklag. What I am talking with you, it's written in the First Samuel chapter 29 and 30. So along with his team, he was staying in the place called Ziklag. So the place Ziklag is in the region of Philistines. So the king of Philistine was Achish. So he liked so much David. So because David was very much faithful to him. his hands were very much clean. So the king Achis liked him so much. But what happened once there was a fight or war between Philistines and Israelites? So before going into the battle, David and his men also joined with the Philistines to war against Israel. But what happened? The commanders of Philistines did not accept David. So they went and complained to King Achis, saying that, who is that Hebrew? Who is coming along with us? He is supposed not to come along with us, because anytime he may turn against us. He may join with the opposite team, because they all are same. For example, Israelites are Hebrews, and this David also Hebrew. So anytime in battle, he may change and he may come against us. He may scheme evil against us. That was the fear of commanders of Philistines. So since they went and complained to King Achis, the King Achis understand that people didn't believe in David. Even though he knows David was a very good person, faithful and honest, but he had to send off David and his men. So he approached David and his men, saying that, please, David, I know who you are, how faithful you are, but now our commanders didn't believe in you. They are not accepting you, they are rejecting you, because they had no faith in you. So please, go back to Ziklag city and stay there. David asked him, oh Lord, now King, now how can you say that? You know who am I? No, I have never done anything evil against you. But he said, yes, David, I understand how you are, how faithful you are, how your hands are clean. But my commanders didn't believe in you. They didn't trust in you. Please forgive me. Please, you can go back. So 2 days he had to travel from the place where he was to Ziklag city. So along with his men, he traveled back to the city called Ziklag, which is in the Philistine region. When he reached back with a lot of discouragements, because they were disappointed. So again, they had to face a big war in their life. What happened there? When they reached back there, they came to know and they saw that the city Ziklag was burned with fire, because Amalekites now invaded into the region of Philistines in the southern region. They burned many cities with fire. When they were burning with fire many cities, they burned Ziklag also with fire, and they took all the people as a captives. Along with all the other people, they took as a captives David's wife and children, and all the men's wife and children, all were taken as a captives. They didn't kill any one of them, but they were taken as a captives. When they see the city was burned with fire, they were totally discouraged. David and his men, they sat down and wept loudly. They were weeping. Crying is different, weeping is different. They were weeping till they had no more strength. Till they had no more strength to weep, they were weeping. Finally, they had no strength, my dear friends. What a discouragement situation David and his men was going through. David had more discouragement. David had more distressful situation, because the men who were with David were planning to throw stone upon David. When David heard that the other men were planning to stone at him, how much painful situation David might have gone through, my dear friends. Yeah, it was not that easy. These people are alive just because David was protecting them. They were not able to realize, just because David, we are alive. David is the one whom God uses to protect us, to provide us, to take care of us. They forgot everything. Because they were in discouragements, they started to throw stone upon others. My dear friends, two kinds of people we can see in this world. One groups of people, when they go through discouragements, they will throw stone upon at others. But the verse says, David strengthened himself in the Lord is God. David strengthened himself in the Lord is God. This is a second group of people. The people who trust in God, each and every situation of their life, each and every painful situation, the people who trust in the Lord will strengthen themselves in the Lord their God. This is the second group. My dear friends, as a leaders, as a mission leaders, as a pastors, as evangelists, now as a servants of God, now as the leader of our church, as the leader of our family members, now when we take some initiative to lead the team, to take care of the team, to protect the team, we should be willing no listen any kinds of commands against us, any kinds of criticism against us. People will backbite us, people will come and struck us backside. Now many painful experience we'll go through. Even then we should trust in the Lord. We should be willing and we should be ready. That's what I would like to encourage you, my dear friends. We should be ready to face any kinds of commands or criticism or accusation against us if you are true leader of God. That's what David I liked so much. David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. No one will come and strengthen us. Do you expect someone to come and encourage you? Do you expect that someone, some preacher, through YouTube, will come and encourage you always? No. You should not expect always that someone has to come and encourage us. Strength is in the Lord. We should learn to strengthen ourselves in the Lord, our God. That should be our motive. That should be our trust, my dear friends. Then only we can go further. Now, David not only strengthened himself, but also David strengthened others who were with him. And again, he inquired of the Lord whether to go after the Amalekites, to take them back. The Lord said, yes, David, you can go. The Lord strengthened them. The Lord enabled them to go and fight against Amalekites. The whole camp, they went and defeated them and brought them back, everyone safely. It is not only they were affected, but also David and his own family were affected because of this incident. But as a leaders, the Lord wants us to stand firm so that we will not be discouraged. We all, each and every one of us, have to face disappointments in our lives. People will reject us. People will not accept us. People will not put their trust in us. People will not believe us. But one thing, that we should never give up and fall into the valley of discouragements. Otherwise, we will lose all our strength. We will not be able to go further to build God's kingdom for His name's glory. Thank you so much for your time. May God bless all of us.